project for the day is to do something with this space here. Put the cargo barrier in now. Gonna mount this amp all the way up here somewhere, inside there, and then down this end, put this. So I've got some scrap steel. Start making up a bracket, and it'll all be covered by this. Right there, so yeah, put my dodgy fabrication hat on and see what type of bracket I can find. So I've got everything mounted on my bracket now. Everything's mounted. Cable tied all these cables in everywhere so that they don't go anywhere. That's all pretty solid. A couple of cable ties down there, and that goes towards the front of the car. So that's the power for the compressor, that's the switching for the compressor. That's all for the amp, that's the RCA leads. So yeah, now I've just got to get this in the car and do all the wiring. Had to do a late night Mercy dash to Bunnings. Ran out of cable and cable ties and didn't have a hose. I thought these things would have come with a bit of hose, but anyway, so that fitting there, that'll go into there, happy days. Should get me out of trouble. Let's get this thing in. Subs in, fridge is back in, the little angle thing. Finally got all this all back together. Thing will mess up, but got the cargo barrier all in. I'm going to make some little brackets that go from there up to those handles up there. Make it a bit stronger. I think that's what some of the brands actually come with. And then now all I've got to do is get all this stuff up onto the dash, put the big red cable over to the battery, and wire up the reverse camera. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? We're not going to the beach. Mess everywhere at the moment, but that's all the wiring from the back for the two air locker solenoids. I think it's green is the rear, yellow is front. That's just earth, and that is the trigger wire for the air compressor, purple. It's the main power feed for it. It's got to get that through the firewall onto the battery. That's the trigger wire for the amp. That's the RCAs, and that's my reverse camera. And over here I've got the ARB loom. Just putting one of these factory look switches. You can see that there. They're a bit nicer than the ARB Carling switches. And then I've got one of these factory Toyota locker switches. So I'm going to make all this work. Don't have to do too much modification. 12 volt there, 12 volt there. That's already all plugged in. The actual switch is plugged in. Got to join these to the other ones down that go all the way down to the back, and we're good to go. Finally getting somewhere. Most of the dash is back together. Just got to tidy up a bit under there. Engine watchdogs, that's probably where it's going to end up. Run all those cables through. Just got to cut those cable ties off, but it goes over to there. And just got to put some coil on this and terminate it to over there. Then just run these speaker cables out to the doors, which is annoying because I'm going to pull all the door cards back off again, which I think I've done about 20 times already. I'm getting good at it though. Then it's done. Hopefully not too much more working on this thing for a while and just actually drive it. Stripping down this dirty old 1AZ today. It's seen better days, it's been sitting for a while. But this is the block I'm going to use to build the 1S DFT for the 80. So basically just going to use everything from there down. All this junk goes, send that away to get built. So yeah, it's the next step of the 80 build. You need a 12mm multi-hex socket to get these head bolts off. And I don't have a 1/2 inch drive one or an impact one, so a 3/8 drive one. This shitty little adapter. And the big rattle gun, so let's see how long it lasts until we explode it. Can't believe it survived. I'll get the head off. It's actually not too bad. There's a bit of rust in, like just surface rust coming up, but probably hone up pretty good, which will save me having to put some oversized pistons in it. So yeah, pretty happy with that. take the rest of this stuff off and give this thing a real good clean. Got the motor all apart, all the pistons out. The boards are actually pretty damn good, there's no real issues there. But one of the rods was welded to the crank. It's actually ruined the crank and ruined the rod. So yeah, bugger. Block's okay, just get myself another crank. Maintenance time on the 80. Got to take this injector pump off, get to that oil cooler bracket, plate, sorry. It's just pissing out oil, so I'll get that off, put a new gasket on that. While I'm at it, I'm going to change the injector pump to another injector pump I've got here because this one doesn't have a tacho output and it would be nice to have a tacho again. And also whip this off over here, I'm going to put a new thermostat in it, a bit more oil in the fan hub, I'll put a new water pump on it, and I've got to get into here so I can put the Snorkel on anyway, so pull this thing off the road for a week or so, get all this stuff done. Also going to get some aircon pipes made up, the whole reason it's off the road is the aircon pipe. Rub through on the firewall down there somewhere, and now I've got no aircon, so no aircon, summertime Queensland, just not driving it. May as well take the opportunity to fix everything that needs fixing and get it back on the road. Got a little bit done on the 80, a new water pump back on, and got sidetracked and started marking out the Snorkel hole. I hate cutting these holes, I'm pretty scared, but it's got to be done. It's not going to do itself. Then yeah, just got to go to my brother's house, pick up the injector pump puller, get that injector pump off, swap it over for this one, because this one has got the magic tacho plug, and then I'll have a tacho, which will make me happy because I don't have a tacho at the moment, and it's never thought it would annoy me, but it actually annoys me not having one, so there you go. Just about to whip this pump off here now. Get the oil filter off, get all those lines off. Started taking the fuel filters and return line off. Get that pump off, swap it over, get that pump off, then take that plate off that's behind there where the oil cooler is. I've got a new gasket for that, so I'll put that on. And hopefully that stops the oil leak, because this thing is not scared of leaking oil. I think I use about 3 or 4 litres every single time I fill up. So it'd be nice to not make an absolute mess on my floor anymore. This is what it does every time you pipe it up. Get rid of that. With new fan hub, new water pump, and new thermostat. Hopefully it doesn't overheat anymore either. If it does, I don't know what else you can do, because it's new radiator, new intercooler, new fan, new thermostat. Like, it still overheats after that. It's just always going to overheat. So hopefully we can cure that. And we'll cut this disgusting thing out. Scary. Then put it all back together and see if it drives. Got me helper, made him climb all the way in there, grab the pump out. But now I've just got to take that plate off, swap that gasket, and she all goes back together. Is that heavy enough for you, mate?
Yes.
Alright, put it over here. Thanks, mate.
No worries.
Can't wait till they can just do everything themselves, and I can be like, oh, fix this, I'll give you $5. Because I'm going to run this pump here, it was off like, I think it's off 100 series, where this one was off a 70 series. This one's just got that straight solenoid there. This has got this immobilizer junk, so what we're going to do is we're going to smash this off. Unfortunately it doesn't bolt off, you've actually got to smash it off. And then you can just have it so that there's one wire on there, and then that's all you need to run your whole motor, just one wire. So just got to do that, swap these couple of fuel lines and stuff over, maybe the fuel supply line, and then that's it. We're good to go. Once you bash this stupid thing off, where's the rest of it? There it is. Don't even ask me what's going on there. Once you do that, you just end up with this little wire here, which is pretty well the same as this. Probably swap that one out if I really felt like it, but I'm just going to leave this because I know this works. I don't actually know if this injector pump works. It's been on an engine that the spun bearing, so we'll just see. I'm only really putting it on because I really want a tacho. I like all the gauges to work, so yeah. Put a little crimp fitting on the end of that, and it's time to put this sucker in. I've lined up both those Woodruff keys to the same spot, so it should just slot in and do up, and I'm not going to be doing any spill timing here, we're just going to time it by ear. See how we go. Wish me luck. I missed the first start, but It does run now. Go on, buddy, hit it. Oh, stop it. It's alive. Oh, it makes me so happy. Now it's got to put it back there, slip together. We're good to go. Turn it off, mate. Oh, I've cut the snorkel hole, nothing special here, basically just put the template on, mark it out, cut it out, paint the edges, and deburr them, paint them just so they don't rust. Put the snorkel in now, I'm going to just mark this little bit up here where I can put the bracket for the pillar. Get that 90-degree elbow in there, put the airbox back in, and I'm going to put all this intake piping back on. Go for a drive and see if this thing overheats. Got the right aircon pipes now, didn't realise there's so many different variants, but they're all the same size, but where this little O-ring goes on, it's all totally different between all the ones I had. I think I've got 3 different sets. Got the 2 aircon pipes so I can get the aircon back in again. And driving home the other night, the alternator caught fire, so I've got a second-hand one laying around. Put that on. Good time to do it now while the aircon compressor's off, because you actually have good access. Get that done and back to just driving it again for a while. Well, I'll put a fridge slide in there too. Got one off a mate, he wasn't using it. You can actually see in the fridge now. What do you reckon, bud?
Good.
You can use it in the fridge? No. No, you can't. It's still way too tall for you. Hey, doggo. What's it doing? These plugs on the back of the alternator always break. So, that's why I've got some tin snips and cut this open here. So I can get a little clip under that plug and get the rest of the plug off without breaking it. The clip's still intact, but the little tab that you press to open the clip's broken, so I wanted to try and salvage it. So there's always something. Nothing's ever easy. Oh, it'll just be a 5-minute job. It's never a 5-minute job. Couple of shed burgers. Everything under here is finished. It's all back together, finally. Got to go get some aircon gas. And there's the melted smell from the alternator. Right there. No wonder it stunk. It's letting all the smoke out. Back in business. Got a full tank of fuel on this thing now. Seems to be behaving itself. Just had to bump up the idle a little bit because it's got no vacuum idle up stuff for the aircon. So just bump the resting idle up a bit, and it seems to be behaving itself. Not leaking any oil. It's not overheating. It used to get to over 100 degrees. I've got a temp sensor just there on the water outlet. It's getting to 100 degrees on the highway. And now I can't get it above 78, so putting extra oil in the fan, the new thermostat and the new water pump seems to have fixed that. And then the last job I've got to do, for now anyway, is this is a blower motor I got it from mate, the actual motor stuff, but it's got a good fan. This is my fan. Some rats eating it or something. I don't know, I've chewed that out. And then I've got a brand new fan here, so I'll make one out of these 2.5. Get this back in the car. Aircon gas yesterday, so I'll have good aircon again. Need aircon. Scored a second-hand Kmart bar off Marketplace for $1,000. You beauty. Went to see Dale at 2D Extreme, get him to fold up some bar work for us, just for the back of that rear bar to protect the quarter panels. They seem to be the first bit that always gets stoved in when you go forward driving, so hopefully this stops that from happening. Also just reinforce the toe points on the bar as well, just when you're snatching up there with D-shackles or whatever. Save it getting all bent and broken while I'm doing a bit of work to it. I've got it re-sandblasted and powder coated, and this is the finished product waiting to get painted red. Well, this is something I've been waiting for a while. Got my little helper here, getting me all the existing plastic bumpers and stuff off. This today, and bolt this on. I'm looking forward to this for a while actually. Kmart bar that I had modified, put extra braces here so I can snatch off there, and got these sort of hoops welded on with a extra protection. And Got some wheel carriers in there. Well, rear bar's on. Just got to put all the other little trinkets in, this stuff, that stuff, and put the lights on, and I had to cut the exhaust to fit because it's this little bracket here which sucked, but I'll put a little 90-degree dump pipe on there, it'll be fine. Yeah, pretty stoked with that. It's looking pretty good now. Mounted all the winch up the other day too. This control box there, a bit of aluminium angle between the spotlight mounts. Got to get the spotties for it one day, but can't watch these things. It's probably going to be about it for this video, I reckon. Because now that motor's stuffed, I need to go get another motor. G'day, mate. Now that motor's stuffed, I've got to go get another motor to pull apart and make an FT. Probably not going to be doing too much work on this thing for a while. Just planning on actually driving it. Cheers for watching.